Hello and welcome to this IELTS Speaking Part 1 video. In this video we're going to look at the topic of films. These are the kinds of questions they might ask you for this topic. There is lots of absolutely fantastic language in this video, so please make sure that you keep watching till the end and make some notes, because it will really help you for this topic and other topics in the IELTS speaking test. Let's take a look. A film buff. You can also use movie. Movie is used more in America, film is used more in the UK. A film buff is someone who is passionate about films and knows a lot about them. Serial dramas, these are TV shows with a number of episodes. So for example, Squid Game had 16 episodes, I think, from memory, and you watch them on a streaming platform or you watch them on your TV. These days, nowadays, at present. From time to time means sometimes, occasionally. Do you like watching films? Yes, I do. I'm not a film buff, but I enjoy watching movies. I tend to watch serial dramas more than films these days, but I still watch films from time to time. A preference means one that you prefer. So if you say, I don't really have a preference, it means that you don't really have a type of film that you prefer. A musical is a film with singing and dancing, such as Phantom of the Opera. Thrillers are exciting films that usually involves a crime. My favourite film of all time, meaning my number one film. A black comedy, or you can also call it a dark comedy, is a film that jokes about sad or depressing topics. So it is a comedy, but it's quite dark. So we call it a black comedy or a dark comedy. What kind of films do you like? I don't really have a preference. I like a wide range of things from musicals to thrillers, but my favourite film of all time is Parasite, which is a black comedy, I guess. This is largely because. To be largely because means mostly because, mainly because. My heavy workload is a fantastic phrase for IELTS speaking because you can use it in lots of topics. Don't use it in every topic, but try to use it at least once during the IELTS speaking test. My heavy workload means I have a lot of work to do. And one with a similar meaning, I'm up to my eyes in, and it means I have a lot of work to do. I'm up to my eyes in work at the moment. To spare the time means to have enough time to do something. So when I say I can't spare the time, I don't have enough time to do it. How often do you go to the cinema? Not as much as I would like, really, and this is largely because of my heavy workload. I'm up to my eyes in work at the moment, so I can't spare the time. Remember to use tend to. It's a fantastic verb that we use with the infinitive, and it means usually. Here I'm using it in the past. I tended to go, because I'm talking about when I was a child. Pick and mix means pick and mix, but we usually say it and write it like this. Pick and mix, and it's a selection of sweets that are paid for by weight. I think in America they call it something like penny candy. So you choose the sweets you want and then they weigh it and they tell you how much it will cost. Pick and mix. A bucket of popcorn is a very large quantity of popcorn like this. A birthday treat is something you have on a special occasion. We talk about giving treats to pets, so here this dog is having a treat. Did you go to the cinema when you were a child? Not that often. I tended to go on my birthday, So I'd invite my friends and we'd have pick and mix and a bucket of popcorn. It was a great birthday treat. Try to avoid using I don't know because it's too simple. I'm not entirely sure. The first film I vividly remember means I remember it clearly. I was obsessed with, I couldn't stop watching it. What was the first film you watched? I'm not entirely sure, but the first film I vividly remember was Shrek. I was obsessed with the film and watched it over and over again. It depends on my mood means it depends on how I feel. If I'm feeling sociable, you like spending time with others. Mates is an informal way of saying friends. I stream movies. Nowadays, most of us stream movies on platforms like Netflix. Do you like to watch films alone or with friends? It depends on my mood and the film. If I'm feeling sociable, I tend to go to the cinema with my mates, but most of the time I stream movies alone at home. Domestic films means films made in your own country. So I'm from the UK, so it means films made in the UK. Domestic films. Tricky, difficult, hard. Subtitles are lines of text that translate the film into your language. I've switched to, I've changed to switch to change. If a film is dubbed, it doesn't have subtitles. They use voice actors to say the dialogue in your language, and then it's put over the film and the dialogue is matched to the lip movements in the film, and these are dubbed films. Do you prefer foreign films or films made in your country? When I was younger, I only watched domestic films because I found it too tricky to read subtitles. In the last few years, though, I've switched to watching more foreign films. I watch them with subtitles rather than dubbed films. As a rule, usually. Weird. This means strange, odd. If you have time to kill, it means you have nothing to do for a period of time. A few years back, this is an informal way of saying a few years ago. If you pass the time, you do something enjoyable because you've got time to kill, to pass the time. To catch a film means to go to the cinema and watch a film. Do you like to go to the cinema with your friends? As a rule, yes, because it feels a bit weird going alone. I only tend to go alone if I have time to kill. So, for example, a few years back I was waiting for my car to be repaired, so I passed the time by catching a film. Okay, lots of language in this video, so let's see what you can remember. Which phrase means to have a lot of work to do? A heavy workload. Which phrase means to have nothing to do for a period of time? Time to kill. What do you call sweets that you choose and pay for by weight? We call these pick and mix. What do we call a comedy that jokes about sad or depressing topics? It's a dark or a black comedy. How can we say to let time go by while doing something enjoyable? To pass the time. Which adjective means to like spending time with other people? Sociable. How can we say to go to the cinema and watch a film? To catch a film. What is another way of saying ever? So I said Parasite is my favourite film of all time. What is another way of saying I have a lot of work to do? I'm up to my eyes in work. What is another way of saying odd or strange? Weird. You can also use bizarre. And finally, how can we say usually? As a rule.